Hey guys! Today we're going to be talking about the African diaspora in Denmark.
Freedom is
Denmark is generally known for Vikings, bicycles, and being the happiest country in the world. However, it's not so well known for its black history, and that's what we'll be talking about today.
The population of Denmark is almost 6 million people, of which reportedly less than 2% are black. That's less than 120,000 people.
Denmark was the 7th largest trading nation during the Transatlantic Slave Trade, trading enslaved Africans from the Gold Coast in West Africa, today known as Ghana.
Denmark had 3 colonial territories in the Caribbean, which were the islands of St Croix, St John, and St Thomas. These islands were occupied by Europeans from 1666 to 1917, when Denmark sold them to the United States, and they became known as the US Virgin Islands.
During the slavery era, Denmark trafficked over 100,000 enslaved Africans to those islands, which at the time were referred to as the Danish West Indies.
Enslaved Africans in Danish territories cultivated sugar, rum, and molasses, which in turn brought vast wealth to Denmark. This came to an end in 1848, when Denmark abolished slavery, although the free black population continued to labour under terrible conditions.
The initial ruling in 1847 had decreed that slavery would be phased out over a 12-year period, beginning with babies born to enslaved mothers.
However, enslaved Africans on the island of St Croix, afraid they would not live long enough to experience freedom, revolted, culminating in the governor, General Peter von Scholten, declaring them free. One of the most famous Afro-Danish figures from history is Hans Jonathan. He was born in 1784 on the Caribbean island of St Croix. When Hans Jonathan was 7, the Schimmelmans took him to Copenhagen. Eventually, he volunteered to fight with the Danish Navy.
Although Denmark still had an enslaved workforce in the Caribbean, the Abolition Movement in Denmark was growing.
When the Schimmelmans tried to reclaim Hans Jonathan and take him back to St Croix, he took his masters to court in a case that received much media attention.
Sadly, the court ruled against him and ordered him to return to St Croix with the Schimmelmann family.
Instead, he fled to Iceland, where he settled in the small village of Djúpivogur, married a local woman, had children, and lived as a free man until his death in 1827.
Until recently, Hans Jonathan had been largely forgotten in Denmark, though in Iceland he has become something of a hero in local folklore. The Icelandic genetic company Decode published a study in 2018 which identified that today Hans Jonathan has around 780 living descendants in Iceland and beyond.
Victor Cornelius was born on the island of St Croix in 1898. Along with his half-sister Alberta Roberts, Victor was transported to Denmark in 1905, when he was 7 years old and his sister was just 4, to participate in a colonial exhibition in Copenhagen.
These colonial exhibits, colloquially dubbed human zoos, were staged all over Europe and the US from the 19th century until as late as 1958. To find out more, watch my video on human zoos after this.
The children were made part of the human zoo, as it was thought that it would boost interest and ticket sales to feature black participants.
After the exhibition, instead of being returned to St Croix and reunited with their families, the children were sent to a school for orphans, where they excelled academically. Alberta sadly died of tuberculosis in 1917, the same year that the Danish West Indies, including their home of St Croix, were sold to the United States and became the US Virgin Islands.
Victor remained in Denmark and went on to embark on a 55-year teaching career. He became a well-known public figure and the head of a music school. He married a Swedish woman and had 3 children of his own. Victor famously formed a musical collective called the White Choir before he passed away in 1985.
Today, Denmark's colonial past and participation in the slave trade is not frequently discussed in the mainstream media. Because Denmark has less of a colonial record to contend with than other European countries, its colonial past is often glossed over.
However, the wealth that Denmark generated during the slavery era is visible in many of the ornate historical buildings in Copenhagen.
A turning point came in 2017, which marked the centenary of when Denmark sold 3 islands, St Croix, St John and St Thomas, to the United States.
This historical moment occurred on the 31st of March 1917, commonly known as Transfer Day, and today the islands are collectively known as the US Virgin Islands.
In recent years, activists from the US Virgin Islands have repeatedly petitioned to receive reparations from Denmark. However, in 2013, the Danish government stated that although it recognises the evils of its slave trading past, it will not be issuing an apology or reparations to the people of the US Virgin Islands, and instead wishes to focus on a future in which no one lives in slavery.
When the centenary arrived in 2017, there were a series of events in Denmark acknowledging its colonial past. One of them came in 2018 when Denmark unveiled the first statue in the country to commemorate a black woman. The statue was called I Am Queen Mary and honours Mary Thomas, who in the 19th century led the largest labour revolt in Danish colonial history.
It took place in the former Danish colony of St Croix, which is now part of the US Virgin Islands.
The sculpture was created by the Danish artist Jeanette Ellers and Virgin Islander Lavaughn Bell. Mary's pose was inspired by the 1967 photograph of Huey P. Newton, the co-founder of the Black Panther Party. The statue is located near Copenhagen's West Indian warehouse, which formerly stored products from Denmark's Caribbean colonies.
Nowadays, Denmark struggles to reconcile what has been described as a latent racial hostility, which has been exacerbated in recent years by the colloquially dubbed migrant crisis in Europe. Since 2015, the Danish government has passed over 67 anti-immigration regulations, which has led to a severe drop in asylum requests.
Black Lives Matter Denmark was founded in 2016 by activist Walia Sorensen. The movement gained traction in 2020 following the murder of African-American George Floyd by police officers who kneeled on his neck for almost 9 minutes, sparking protests worldwide. The largest protest in Denmark was held on June the 7th in the capital of Copenhagen, which drew a crowd of 15,000 people. Famous Afro-Danes not already mentioned include the actress and director Helle Joof, philosopher Vincent Hendricks, lawyer Jacob Mchangama, musician Thomas Buttensjorn, rapper Alagami, politician Mathias Tesfaye, and the actress and comedian Anna Ney.
That's it for our video on Black history in Denmark. If you liked that, then please do check out the other videos on the channel. And for a daily dose of Black history, find me on Instagram at FreedomIsMineOfficial. I'll see you in the next video.
Freedom.